Hi, I'm Ricky Sherwood.
And I'm Dave Adams.
And welcome to the Core Mechanic.
And today we're looking at number 95 on Mike Selinker's list of 100 games you absolutely positively must know how to play. Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity was self-published in 2009 by the following designers. Go ahead, read for yourself. It plays between 3 and anywhere over 20 people, with a game time lasting between half an hour and until whenever your alcohol runs out. Cards Against Humanity is also well known for their outrageous media stunts, particularly their infamous Black Friday sales, where you would purchase nothing for $5 or maybe get a box full of feces. It should also be noted that they're well known for the charity work that they do. So I can't help but feel that I've played this game before.
You played this game before. You must be apples.
Really?
And I have to say, this is probably one of the least innovative games on the list.
No, and simply by
the fact that it's a direct rip-off of another game.
Apples to apples.
Apples to apples, yeah. But at the same time, you've got to wonder, well, why is this game on the list?
Yeah, why this one and not apples to apples?
Yeah.
Quick show of hands from the audience. How many people have played Apples to Apples versus how many people have played Cards Against Humanity? This game is huge.
Yeah, massively popular. And really just came from, I think in some senses, it just came from people getting together and being crude.
Well, why not?
Well, yeah, it seems to work so often.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, there is a baseline sort of humour that everyone can enjoy. There's a reason why fart jokes are funny. I mean, that's why stand-up comedians can joke about certain taboo stuff, and everyone likes to have a bit of a giggle at that sort of stuff.
I guess so. I do find that there is a sense in which the game just stops being funny for me after a while. Like, I never really got into it the way that other people got into it. And I don't think it's because I'm too highbrow or that I don't enjoy a good belly laugh. I just think there's only so far you can go with topics or a game or making the same sort of joke over and over again.
Yeah, well, when all of your answers are going to be shock answers, they're inevitably going to lose their shock value.
Well, and that's right. Like, at some point it tries to be shocking, yeah, but it just starts to fall flat after all. But however, like, I think I'm in the minority on this one. I know a vast number of people who still play the game and love it, as much as I know any number of people who wish they hadn't bought the game because they've fallen out of love with it.
But come on, this is a game that can play over 20 people. The only other game that I know that does that is Werewolf.
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. But at the same time, I don't need 20 people to play it. And for me, like, I guess the thing for me is it's not just the humour. Like, I don't really find half the stuff funny in it. For me, it's that it's not a game element. It's just a social activity in my mind.
Well, it is extremely simple mechanically. Pick a card, play it in response.
That's right. And
be the funniest.
Hopefully yours will get chosen.
Yeah.
But the entirely subjective nature of the game, I just think, like, it doesn't fit me as I don't go to a games night to play this.
No, certainly this isn't a game I'd bring out with a group of dedicated gamers. But if we're having a party and I've got a whole bunch of strangers and just want to have a laugh.
And that seems to be the key element there.
Yeah.
Is the accessibility for anyone and everyone. To the point where people who don't want to be gamers would probably find themselves playing it because it is just that fun activity to do.
Yeah. So as you say, raw accessibility, though not for kids.
No, that's right. And maybe that's why it's on the list in some senses. This is a bit of a confusing one for me. Because I have to admit, I don't really know what is so great about the game. It's not my favourite game. I don't find it terribly fun. I can maybe do a couple of rounds of it, but they'll lose interest pretty quickly. However, maybe it's the fact that it's an adult game.
Well, as we mentioned before, pretty much anyone can come in, join in, have a bit of a laugh. It's a great social lubricant.
Well, yeah,
It sounds like it might be a response on the Cards Against
it
Humanity
does sound
card.
like a Cards Against Humanity response. I'll read this statement to you because I think, for its critics' sake, for those who are actually critical of the game, I'll read this out and you tell me how well you resonate with it.
Sure.
In a letter of complaint to New York Times Magazine, writer Dan Brooks argued that, like America's most successful brands, Cards Against Humanity positions itself against the masses, when in fact it is mass taste distilled. It is the product of a culture in which transgressing social norms has become an agreed-on social norm. He continues saying that may be because Cards Against Humanity isn't really transgressive at all. It is a game of naughty giggling for people who think the phrase black people is inherently funny. He concluded by saying, "The awful thing is that it works. The reliability of Cards Against Humanity as an activity most people will enjoy only makes it more depressing to those of us immune to its charms. It is, in the end, a party game for horrible people. Who else is there to party with?"
Strong words.
Strong words.
Yep. But I think he does pick up on an interesting point, and that's the fact that Cards Against Humanity makes you giggle because it's taboo.
Yeah, and it's trying to pick up on those taboos.
Question for us now is the game. Why is it on the list? Well, we've sort of agreed it's the mass appeal thing.
Yeah, I think so.
But having said that, as a game designer, what do you think you can learn from this?
Well, I think one of the things you can take away from it is that, again, it doesn't come down to being innovative or creative. I mean, this is... I don't even see this as a twist on the mechanics of apples to apples.
It is apples to apples.
It is apples to apples. I just see it as... I see it as a development almost of that 1,000 blank cards, the game 1,000 blank cards, where people create their own card to play in the game. I guess it's almost down to, well, I don't know.
For me,
I don't know that I'm going to take anything specific away from this.
Yep. For me, this is the designers knowing their audience.
Yeah,
they
perhaps.
were going for people that were going to laugh at this sort of thing. This is not a game for professional gamers or anybody that's truly into gaming. This is an activity to bring out when you're all sloshed.
And maybe, like, with Killer Bunnies, half the value is in the community.
That's right.
Outside of the game, the metagame. People talk about Cards Against Humanity. They're invested with the company itself. The fact that they can have these outrageous sort of stunts where, you know, for Black Friday sales, they say, hey, just give us $5 and we'll give you nothing. And they can earn $100,000 out of that. You know, that's a community of people going, oh, they're so funny, I'm going to give you $5 for being funny. Yeah. Like, that says that those people are invested more than just the game. They're invested in
the brand,
yep. the creators,
yep.
the style of humour.
Having said that, Cards Against Humanity doesn't necessarily have to be dirty. I'm sure that there's some sort of expansion out there. So many expansions for this game with different themes. There might just be fantasy themes.
Yeah, I guess you could take out all the rude, crude ones and then you'd be left with...
Well, this would be something that would work with sci-fi fans in the same way that Flux Star Trek.
Well, see, sure, you're talking about retheming, but I don't know, like...
It wouldn't be as broad
I just don't think I just don't think it's that interesting a game. Unless it was specifically you went, here's Star Wars and let's think of a bunch of crazy things to put those characters into. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this game at all, as you can tell. Yep. I'm not highly invested in it, so I don't really know what I'm going to take away from it.
Yeah. It's not a game I'd bring to a 4-player table, but it's never supposed to be there anyway. So.
But maybe that's where you can help us out. Help us out in the comment section below. Tell us, please, what it is you love about this game. Help us to understand what's so brilliant about it from a design perspective. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below.
So, for this week, I'm Ricky Sherwood.
I'm Dave Adams.
And this has been The Core Mechanic.
See ya.